This is the first episode of my experimental podcast, The Zurability Show. I'm your host, Zura Javakhadze, and for context, I'm mostly known for my somewhat successful chess career, where I hold the title of International Master. In this podcast, I talk to other chess players and share experiences we have came across on and off the board. Please enjoy wide-ranging conversation with National Master Nicholas Matta, New Orleans resident and one of the strongest chess players from Louisiana state. Let's do a little bit of an introduction.
Yeah,
Nick Matta. Did I pronounce the last name
it's
correctly?
a good question because my dad said Mata and my mom said Mata, so it's unclear. I think Mata is correct though because it's Italian Spanish. I think it's Italian last name, and I think the correct pronunciation in that case would be Mata.
Okay. So, National Master on a quest to become international master, close to 2200 Fide and close to what 2400, right? USCF.
No, like 2350. So
2350.
that's the goal for next year for sure.
Okay, cool. Good to have you, man. And it was we met at the tournament, the third
Yeah,
round
man.
at the Texas.
It was a real pleasure. I got handed an L in the end, but couldn't have been happier about a loss because it was a really interesting game, man. And I enjoyed analyzing it with you afterwards too.
Likewise, and actually, that was one of the motivating factor why I wanted to do this. Okay, cool. You said, Italian, Spanish. Tell me about that. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, my dad was originally his first language was Spanish because his parents were originally from Mexico. So I'm technically a third generation immigrant
Okay.
from Mexican parents, and I believe. I haven't done like a DNA test. I still want to do this actually. And do more research into it. But I believe their ancestors came from Spain. So there's definitely like a Spanish origin.
I would say that you are Italian, man. If I till this moment, I was not sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were Italian.
Well, the last name is Italian, is the thing. So it makes a lot of sense. And I might be, I don't know. I gotta do that DNA test. I got it from Amazon. Pretty expensive, I gotta say.
Okay.
And then they read that like the DNA is being used for like some pretty suspicious activities and like research for companies to get better information on selling things. So I was like, oh, I don't know, but I probably will do it. I don't know if I really buy into that. You're from Georgia originally, correct?
Yep. From Georgia. Been in Texas for 6 years, 5.5 years. This tournament I've played this tournament all along. I think I've played all five Texas State tournaments since I got here.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's commitment to the game. And you've won 4 of them. You come second in the other year, so that's pretty good, man. And one of the bigger states in the United States.
Yeah. From the beginning, it started as okay. It became the tradition.
Yeah. Which year was your favorite one? Do you feel like you played your best, or that I guess like holds the most value to you for winning?
Oh, I guess there was one year when I won clean with 6.5. I think that was.
That's a nice score.
Yeah, that was 2016. So probably when it's most dominant, you have a good memory towards that. Right? You said you have one coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I'll be playing in the Louisiana State Championship. I've come in second place 5 years in a row at this tournament.
Oh man, so you are on the grind too.
I know. I've been consistent. The last 2 years in particular, I really should have won, or at least last year for sure, where I had a winning position in the final round, and if I win it, then that's it. But I played this like
Oh no,
piece sacrifice, and I miscalculated, and it didn't quite work. I was winning otherwise though.
it's the worst when you let it go in the last moment.
Yeah,
That's so painful.
I hadn't done that before. The other ones were cases where I just didn't get the right pairing in the seventh round, and so I couldn't make up the difference. The winning scores here are like insane. You have to go like 6.5 out of 7 here to win. Because like one year I went 6 out of 7 and came in second place and didn't even get to play top board in the final round. And it's like, okay,
Oh wow.
what do I do? Yeah,
That's probably
but
because a lot of people play it, right? Play the tournament, I assume.
exactly. We get like 100 usually, something like that, and it's all one big division over 7 rounds. And there's usually someone that's beaten up on 1800s, 1900s pretty consistently. Whereas like I used to drop draws every now and then
Yeah.
to like a 2000 or 1900.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this year, man. I feel like I'm enjoying chess more now than I ever have. I really like the style which I'm playing. I feel like my games have been generally pretty interesting. You know, in St. Louis, I played before this. I had 6 decisive games and only 3 draws. And then this tournament, I had 6 decisive games, no draws.
That's amazing. Such
So
a
I'm
such
playing
a great
interesting
feeling,
games.
right? I played the tournament in Charlotte, North Carolina. I had 9 decisive results, man.
Oh man, that's crazy.
That was
'Cause
in
you're playing it's like
October. In October. Was it October or September? It was crazy. I don't think I've ever had that many decisive results in a single tournament. 9 out of
no.
9. I
What do
won.
you think caused it?
What was that?
What do you think caused it? Like, what contributed to that?
COVID, because I was missing over the board chess a lot. That was kind of
Yeah.
one of the first tournaments, like real tournaments and real competition. There were good
Right.
people, like a bunch of upper 2300s and 2300s.
This was an open.
No, it was actually IM Norm tournament. They invited me
Oh, okay.
to play for IM Norm tournament.
Did you play against Josiah Stearman and like?
No,
Yuri
he was
Inperson?
playing GM Norm at that time, Grandmaster Norm tournament.
Oh, okay.
We were there together, but we didn't get to play against each other. I
Mhm.
won 6, lost 3.
That's very good.
That was interesting. Yeah, I tied for the first, but did not gain the rating. I broke even because last game I lost to Robbie Adamson, who is like 22-20, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a wild game. I was very very close to wrapping it up, but went into time trouble and just made a one more blunder, which just drove the
man.
piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool. Before we get into the game, curious how you got to this point. Like, you are 350 right now,
Yeah.
and I read a little bit, and also we've talked a little bit earlier, right?
Yeah.
In span of what, like 5 years, you
Something like that. Yeah.
managed to jump from 1500 to where you are today.
Yeah, just about. It's been about like 6 years now, but yeah, I played a lot as a kid,
That-
and was
Just
like
before
in
you
love
get
with the
into
game
it,
right
before you
away.
get into it, I just wanna kind of compare. I imagine that's a very different place that you're coming from
Mhm.
compared to where I'm coming from. Kind of where I grew up on the street. My neighbor was 5 times women world champion.
Oh wow.
Maya Chiburdanidze. Yeah. So chess was like insanely popular
Yeah.
over there. So I was curious. Okay, what is it?
Mhm.
Where you grew up, I don't imagine chess being nearly
No.
as popular.
Football was first, second, and third where I grew up. You know, and not the football you're used to. Football, American football. You know, New Orleans Saints are
Yep.
like, yeah. You know, for some people it's country, then God, but you know, for us it's football first. Um, yeah. So chess. I mean, we had like a couple masters here, but nothing professional and nothing like even taking that seriously for sure. And like, you know, basically at the school I went to growing up, there was no chess club. We eventually made one, but there was no chess club because it's like not a common thing here, or at least it wasn't at that time.
Yeah. So how did you manage? What
Yeah, I
happened?
mean,
Tell. I'm very curious. Where did it come from?
yeah, I mean, I loved it as a kid. I mean, I think I was mainly just someone that got affected by Katrina more than anything. You know, Hurricane Katrina that hit New Orleans because
Yep.
I developed a love for the game when I was like 7, 8, 9 years old, you know, and I was playing in tournaments across the different states. Like I traveled to like Georgia with my parents or like Tennessee and Florida, Mississippi and stuff like that. I got to be pretty good. I mean, I was like a 1400 or so by the time I was like 9 or 10. And then Katrina hit New Orleans. And afterwards, there was no tournaments for like a year or two. And then my coach left. He had to move because his house got destroyed. And you know, a lot of things just changed after that. And also, you know, you go into like high school and stuff, and chess is like maybe not the best way to try and impress the ladies. So I didn't continue with chess
What
at
year
that
was
point.
Katrina? 2005,
Katrina was 2005.
right? Yeah, five.
Yeah. So I had like just turned 11 at the time. Yeah. So I didn't play chess from like 12 to like 19 or so, like at all, pretty much. Maybe every now and then with someone that would ask, but yeah, I just kind of in my freshman year, in my first semester actually at college, I just like fell back in love with the game and just like I needed something to do, especially like before morning classes. I don't know it was kind of a tough time like trying to find my footing at this new school, and so chess was like a really good way for me to positively channel a lot of that uh, I was going through and kind of give structure. And so I just like totally dove into it like right away. Like I never studied when I was a kid. I only liked playing, you know, like every time my coach would give me homework or something, I didn't do it, or like I didn't like read a book ever or anything like that because I was like 9, you know, like I ain't got time for that. So like here
Let
I
me
am,
play.
like this
Let me
19-year-old
play.
guy that like had nothing to do. So you know, I had some things to do, but chess was like the only thing I was like, super passionate about. And I just like totally started reading a bunch of books. I was like a first time student basically. And so I got to like 2000 within like half a year from like 1400, which was the rating I had as a kid.
Wow, from
And
1400 to 2000. That's
yeah, that was the big jump. And then from there, it's been pretty just steady, like 50 to 100 points, maybe every year and a half, just kind of gradually going up. And so I was like 2250 USCF like a year and a half ago, and I've been kind of climbing since then. I started working with Eltosh Safarli actually for a time. Eltosh has been great, as well as Gregory Kaidano from time to time. He's been like a huge influence as well.
that sounds amazing. What was it like? So Grandmaster Eltosh Safarli, the member of Azerbaijani, very strong Azerbaijan national team. He 2660, right? around. And the legend. What was it like to work with Kaidano? He's like a legend.
Oh man, he's
American
a genius.
chess, right?
And like Gregory is one of the best people I've ever had the chance to like interact with and take lessons from, because Gregory really is able to get into the psychology of chess very effectively and in a way that isn't pushy either. He'll often, I think, allow students to come to these conclusions on their own, but he'll be able to kind of ask the right questions and say the right things that will really instill lessons. I think I learned more about myself and chess understanding more from Kaidano than anyone. I mean, he's got a way, I think, he's just like really understanding the essence of why like certain mistakes are made, and just like really being able to effectively point out why exactly you're doing it. I credit him more than anyone from my jump from the 21 to 2200, which was pretty tough at the time. But Eltaj, on the other hand, was like one of the hardest working and like best opening preparation like I've ever seen. Like he just totally just showed me a brand new world and what opening preparation can look like. There were certain variations I'd like never even taken seriously, and he's got analyzed as a forced draw to like move 40 and stuff, and it's like a side variation. But then I think it really showed not just the depth of like analysis that I should be doing in preparation, but also the depth of analysis I should be doing in just my regular calculation and just over the board play. So like after working with Eltaj, like, I was like really just a much more concrete and better prepared player. And actually that helped me win the Chicago Open. Eltaj is probably the main reason I was able to crack 2300.
Oh, tell me about that. So you won the Chicago Open right after
the under 2300 section though, not the like main section. I could never win it. Those guys, but I
hey, don't
not this year at least. We'll wait till like 2023 based on this rating trajectory.
You never know. You never know. Sky's the limit.
Can get hot.
Yep.
But no, I had like a tournament in my life in Chicago, playing in the under 2300 section in 2019. I won all 7 games, and like not once in any of the 7 games did I have a worse position even. Like it was comfortable. I had 4 games with black, and I was only like the number 10 seed in the tournament. I wasn't like clearly much stronger than all my opponents. I was equally rated with 4 of them. But I had really studied a lot with Eltaj, and I hadn't played any events for like 4 or 5 months. And it can be really valuable, actually, sometimes just getting away from tournaments for a while so that you have, ample time to like really evaluate what you're doing well and what you need to improve on, and then spending time improving on it, because I needed to improve my opening prep. I was like way too predictable playing Catalans like every game and just like trying to like slowly grind out games, but like not having that diverse of ideas. And I never got a worse position because I was always so well prepared in the opening, and then I just did a bunch of work with Devoretsky's books.
Actually, I want to get into that a little bit. I think there can be that topic of opening preparation can be taken in so many directions. But I'm very curious to hear your perspective, like your way, how it worked out for you. I agree completely. For every time I've performed well in a tournament, usually it's when you have fresh ideas, when you have fresh ideas in the opening. I think that's a very, very important factor of the preparing for the tournament.
Yeah, there's like many benefits of it, right? Because then your opponent's gonna have a difficult time preparing for you if you're playing these new openings or new ideas.
Do you usually try to learn new stuff? Do you try to go deeper on stuff that you analyzed, or what's usually your approach?
Yeah, I mean, given that I've been improving at a pretty quick rate, I would say,
Yep.
I try to update my opening repertoire as my understanding develops. Because I feel like there are certain openings I would play for a time, and my analysis for it would be based on when I was like 2100, when I was like 2300 now. And, I needed to go back and like revise them. So I'm always trying to like change based on, whether or not I feel like I've improved and need to like just kind of update my ideas and like adjust for like how I'm improving. Like the things I improve at will change. So there's times where I'll be playing better in end games. There'll be times I'll be playing better dynamic chess, and I try to adjust my repertoire to reflect that, so I can try to focus on the positions I'm trying to improve in. I might go for a more dynamic repertoire if that's my main focus in chess. Recently, it's been a lot on tactics, so I've just been trying to be really concrete and just like taking opportunities to attack when I do. But I think it's generally a good thing to change up your openings, and I would go from E4 and D4 from like year to year for a time, and then changing all my defenses with black too.
Yeah, I would normally generalize it as there are people who play one thing for a very long period of time, and they're really good at it. And there are people who switch up openings a lot. And also, in the modern world, I feel like you gotta be versatile if you want to kind of like compete on a high level. But I don't think particularly that one it can be better or one is better than the other. I think it's very much individualistic to a person.
For sure.
Yeah, there are some people. I would say, especially when I'm talking about this, the Russian chess school comes to my mind. When they might not be very versatile, they might be kind of like sticking to their structure.
Yeah.
But still.
Always playing the best move.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Having said that, you wanna jump to our game?
Yeah, for sure, man. I'd be happy to. Like I said, I haven't looked at it that much since I've gotten home from the tournament, so it'd be cool to unpack what's going on here. I definitely want to explore what could have happened if you played D4 later in the game.
The game link will be provided in show notes. Now we are back at after the game discussion. Or I should say, I should frame the question differently. Before I let you go, the cliche question, but I gotta ask, what's your way of improvement? What's your approach? How do you approach improvement?
Yeah, it's like it is a cliche question, but it's one that's really interesting to think about, anyways, right?
Yeah. Well, it's different.
There's so many possible answers.
Exactly, and I think it's different for everyone. There can be so many different ways of achieving the particular rating or particular title or whatever your checkpoint, whatever your next goal is.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that go behind it. Of course, I would say like the first thing that comes to mind is I always try to be very objective in my like analysis of how I'm playing and the decisions I'm making, and I think it's important to do that. I think it's important to like really have like an honest look at what you're doing well and what you could stand to improve. Um, so I think having that mentality about it has allowed me to kind of take feedback that would be helpful to my game and make the changes when necessary. Um, I think, you know, I'll change what I study from time to time. I'm never studying in one specific way forever. You know, like I will sometimes be studying tactics and puzzles, sometimes end games and others, and the depth of analysis. Like I've worked on the Woodpecker Method, for example, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but that's a
I
really
am
interesting book.
actually familiar with it. What do you think about it?
I think it's great, and I can only say that I think it's great because I had really good results using it. Because at the end of the day, you know, I think that's how you would judge it or assess a thing like that. Because it's interesting conceptually, but at the end of the day, does it make you play better? Because I think some people I know have tried it, and I don't think they've had so much success. But I did the Woodpecker Method one time. Didn't do like the whole thing about doing it in one day, but I did the whole thing in about 4 weeks, like they said,
Okay.
before the Spice Cup 2019. And I gained almost like 50 Fide in that one event. And I was underrated Fide, but I definitely played better. Even though I wasn't even playing tactically, because it's a tactical book. You would think, oh, you're going to start playing tactically. But what it did for me was it allowed me to see all the tactics in the position more easily, to then be able to focus on the strategic thinking a bit more clearly without having to be bogged down calculating little tactics here and there and wasting time on that. I was able to spend that time instead focusing on the ideas of the position a bit more freely, with confidence, So I think the Woodpecker Method is a really good book. I think it's worth trying for people. It may not work for everyone, I don't know, but it worked for me. I think it's a good process. Have you tried it?
I have not tried myself, but I had the look at it, and I can definitely see how it is useful. And I also have heard a lot of good things about it from my students and from people I respect in the chess world. I do think that it's useful to drill down those reflexes, right? I look at that more as the reflexes.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't done particularly Woodpecker Method, the book itself, when I would do tactics when I was young, I had similar experiences doing tactics. For example, I would do city art, and my back then the coach, he would make me do it for like 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, over and over. So that's basically what it is, right? You just do the same positions over and over. In my case, it would be more like we didn't have internet, and we had this software CT Art or ST Art, and I would just do those tactics over and over and over and over until the point that I literally knew all the positions there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm imagining it's a similar method, right?
Yeah, and it's actually funny because, like, I didn't finish the second time around, because the book recommends that you do it all in 4 weeks, and then you do it again, but the second time you do it in 2 weeks, and then you keep doing it over and over until you have your time, from 4 weeks to 2 weeks to 1 week to like 3 days, eventually down to like doing it all in one day. By the time I was doing it on the second go round, I was definitely remembering a lot of the positions and like remembering the answers. Like, oh yeah, I know this position. I've seen this before, and remembering it like exactly. And I think it's a similar approach where it's reward and repetition, because I think in like repeating those puzzles and like emphasizing just the mass, like the quantity of puzzles that you're seeing and the positions you're seeing. It's all about how many you're seeing, how many patterns you get to be exposed to. It really improved my instincts. Like I just like the feel I had with the board was much stronger. I still had to like work and calculate things out, particularly in more complex positions, but my feel for the board was greatly improved. My feel for coordination was a lot stronger, I think. And so I would play like fewer mistakes, I think, because if you're playing with coordination in mind, usually that alone will like get you to a pretty good direction. Like you'll be playing in a way that's still, even if you're not fully accurate all the time, you'll still be playing in the spirit of the position a lot of times if you keep focused on your coordination, I find. So yeah, that was definitely like a pretty interesting way. I've also spent other times working through like Javakhadze's like endgame manual.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you're recommending a Woodpecker for tactics. Let's talk about how you approach openings and endgames.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's more important than like any specific material is like your mindset towards your learning and accepting the fact that there's always things for you to learn. Because I think if you do that, you're always going to be looking at different ways to change your routines of learning and things that you do to make you better. And that in turn will make you a lot better than if you had just kind of continued on the same routine, the same pattern over and over again. You're going to more likely plateau that way.
And that is also very individual. That is also very individual. Or different people feel different way about those improvements. It might be their weaknesses or like blind spots might be different. So
right, exactly.
That's what makes it a beautiful thing. I think for me it might be different than for you, and I might have experienced different problems what you have experienced. But I think the beautiful part of everyone's journey is exactly that it's this process is kind of same but also different for all of us, for each of us.
Yeah, and should always be evolving, I think, like understanding new ways to learn. I think regarding openings, I use a lot. I use chest baits mainly. I've had coaches like Eltaj that have helped me. And Eltaj recommended some pretty interesting lines, I gotta say. I won't divulge what that is on like a YouTube video possibly or something like that. But, I've had a lot of success with those lines that he showed me. But eventually, people see those games in the database and like they start to prepare for you, and you need to adapt what openings you play so that you're not too predictable. And so recently I've been doing a lot of my own research in openings rather than relying on a coach because I find it improves my level of play. So what I'll often do is I'll just decide like, okay, I'm going to focus on the Queen's Gambit decline positions with like knight f3 and without white capturing on d5, or I'm going to focus on those bad structures today, or I'm going to focus on the Grunfeld and want to try to gain some advantage with white, or try to at least, and so I'll just create chess-based files and just go through everything in the databases and try to study the games and try to study the different moves and try to, of course I'll use an engine for it, but I try to initially think of the position more strategically on my own terms and try to make my own conclusions first, just so I kind of form my own opinions of the position. And then kind of, after doing this for some time, then kind of cleaning it up and having like some more clear analysis with like concrete moves, or at least finalizing what I think is the absolute best move in each position is, I think, probably a better way to put it. So I've been trying to do some of my own opening prep because I think at this level that I'm trying to enter like FMIM territory, right? Like I think I need some of my own ideas. And I think I need to understand the positions myself more than just relying on a coach.
I would say that is a single most important thing probably, and I kind of want to unbox that a little bit because I think it's a common misconception. A lot of people think that if they hire like high rank coach, they can just give them analysis that will make them win games.
Yeah,
like
not that easy.
That it doesn't work that way, especially
not unless you know everything really deeply.
Yeah, unless
like
you are already at a level when specifics and specific line or specific novelty in a line is big of an importance. And even then, you gotta be able to finish it off, right? Take it to the end. And it's not often easy, especially if you're playing usually like someone stronger than you. It's not easy if you even if you get them in the opening, right? So that's another factor to it, and you have to know the process. You have to know the process. How do you do the research yourself, and how do you come up with these ideas yourself? Because in the modern world, where the chess openings are evolving almost like daily and monthly basis, it's so hard to have one repertoire and go with it for a long time, right? You constantly gotta. You mentioned you gotta adapt, right? I think that's very important to have that skill and the ability to adapt. And I think one of the reasons why usually during when the generation clash happens, and you see that younger generations have so much advantage over like previous generation, that's exactly what's happening. I feel like uh, they have not been able to adapt to the recent challenges. All right, man, we're approaching like a 3 hour mark.
Wow, really?
Yep, it was.
Wow, it's 1:30.
I don't know
Holy
if
shit.
it felt like that, but any
Gone by fast.
last thoughts, comments you would like to pass to the chess world?
Oh, for those of you that have not played a tournament in a very long time because of COVID situations, keep patient. The wait is worth it. You know, like I had honestly fallen out with chess from like June through like all of September. Like I would play some blitz here and there, but I haven't studied in a while.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize how much I missed classical chess. You know, like I was kind of ambivalent about it. But getting an opportunity to play again in person with people and like the competitive spirit of it all really has been I don't know, fulfilling. Like I really had missed it. And so I guess as someone, you know, that's gotten to play recently and we've gotten to play each other and all of a sudden we were like friends now and doing all this, you know, if you haven't had the chance to play again, you know, I would look out for opportunities and try to play when you feel it's safe and they'll be worth it in the end. I'm glad tournament chess is coming back slowly but surely.
That's a great way to wrap it up, man. I agree.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I agree. Worth is weight. Classical chess is not extinct. We're gonna come back, and it's gonna be interesting how we come back. I think also, but we're definitely coming back at it. Online chess, my opinion about it is these two are completely different things. Like you have online poker and you have face-to-face poker, right? You have live poker and you have online poker. Same way, you have online chess and you have live chess, and those two are completely different things. There, I understand it's much more convenient to sit in front of your computer and just play fast chess, and sometimes it may have more adrenaline, right? When there is something on stake, but it's a different feeling sitting in front of the board, actually taking your time to think through your ideas and then touching the pieces and thinking of your opponent's responses, and not only like moves but the mental responses and also physical responses. I think that's part of the game, that what excites us. and I don't think that's going anywhere, no matter what happens to online chess. So I'm still positive about it. I feel this online boom is definitely good. More people know and hear and are interested about chess. It's better it is for our community.
Absolutely. I think that on in-person chess has been a lot more creatively fulfilling. I think that like the creative side of chess, I feel like it's a lot more satisfying with classical chess, like over the board, because like I feel like I can explore some weirdness in the position as we were able to today in like in our game a bit. Like that was, I would never be able to appreciate the detail and the depth of the tactics that a position could have in the game online compared to what we were able to do in the game, and then also after the game analyzing it. I haven't analyzed any online games in a while. I don't think many people do. Not for Blitz necessarily, you know. But it's of course a good thing that's been booming. I'm thankful for it. I'm glad chess is getting its moment. But hopefully, you know, the moment extends. You know, it's not just like 1972.
Just wait. Say it again.
I said hopefully, the moment that chess is happening, you know, carries on, that it goes further. Yeah, 1972. I was just referring to like Fischer winning the world championship, which had like a boom in chess in America, especially. But it didn't last very long. You know, it was kind of short lived because Fischer, of course, left, and so that changed things. But I think this boost in popularity chess is seeing now is probably here to stay. You know, I think it's going to have long-term implications and good ones.
I hope so too. I hope so too, and definitely the Queen's Gambit played a big role, right? I think.
Have you seen it?
I did see it. Yes.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was great.
I liked it too. I think it's a depiction of every chess player's dream. You know, we all fantasized about this, right? The time.
I'm still trying to see the board at the ceiling. I'm working on it. But maybe I'll unlock that at IM or something.
Starts to appear. Yeah, we'll see. I'm very close to becoming Grandmaster, but it still hasn't appeared. So.
Yeah, you need more tranquilizers, man.
That's probably not far.
Yeah, I got one right here.
Yep. All right, Nick. Thanks for taking time. This has been great, and I'm sure we're gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, for sure, man. Down to any time. Whether it's playing, going over chess, or preparing. Down to hang out.
Sure thing. Till next time.
Peace out.
All right. That is a wrap of my first episode, and I am very excited to share it with you. Thank you for listening, and please let me know what you think. Ask questions, engage with community. It will mean a great deal to me. All right, till next time.